Leroy, do you feel zen after hearing that music?
Hmm?
I said, do you feel zen after hearing that intro music?
No. You know when I
Fantastic.
feel zen? When I'm sleeping
When
or when I
that's
shoot people in the face on Doom.
it sounds like you're saying Dune, but did you say
Doom.
Dune or Doom?
Doom.
Okay, just checking.
When I wreck people on Doom, these
When I wreck
demons
people on
deserve to get it in
these
the
demons is
face.
oh wow. So many things going on. We got a few people coming into the chat slowly. Hello everybody. This is the We Trying channel. You may still see us on News 19 Nerds because let's be honest, that channel's still bigger. So we will continue to milk
For
it for
now,
everything it's worth. Yes,
but we're
for now.
coming
We
for
will
you, News 19 nerds. We're coming for
we
you, all your subscribers. They go come to us. They go belong to us.
that is so meta. Yeah. Let's see who we got so far. We got IMAX, we got Zayla Maru, we got Diggs BTW7. I'm not familiar with that name. Oh, that's somebody coming from our Twitch channel. So that's cool.
Twitch in the house.
Twitch is coming in. Yeah, so what's been going on with you, man?
Taking this medication because my I'm nauseated.
Hmm. You ate something weird?
Didn't need it.
No. Okay, fair enough.
uh,
Uh yeah, eventually we are going to talk about the future of handhelds on this particular stream.
yep.
Leroy, being the genius that he is, has a docket for us to talk about a bunch of different topics. This was a good topic from Leroy. They all were, but I thought this was something we could come on to do. Y'all coming
Especially
over to We Trying. That's right, IMAX.
especially considering the new information that just got dropped or that was released recently.
Oh, that's a tease. I have no idea what you're talking about, but all right.
Yeah, IMAX, tell them to hit the like button and subscribe. Leave a comment. We always are responsive to the community, the chat. We do what we can to make this not our show, but y'all show.
Your show. Yeah,
Your show.
your show. We just run it a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, what made you, I mean, just general questions. What made you think of this topic, future of handhelds?
So recently, Nintendo has really changed the game once again with its Switch. It's always in the top for as far as sales. Um, it's a very ingenious device. The people who came up with it, they needed to find a way to compete with the big boys, with Sony and Microsoft, and have a device that actually stands out and a handheld that allows you to take your game wherever you want to go and play it on a big screen is genius. I almost bought one. There's yours right there. Is that the OLED or is that the first generation?
No, this basic. I didn't do an OLED. So I already
Do
have
you
one.
plan to upgrade to an OLED or do you
Not
plan to wait
really.
until a Pro comes out?
Yeah, I would if I were to get an OLED version, it would be like whatever the new model is. Like I don't
Okay.
need another model of the same thing. I would want like more. I would want better hardware in it besides just a
Okay.
better screen.
So I was thinking about it, and I really was. So when Katie was pregnant, the first time, I really almost bought a Switch for her while she was at home. Um, and I didn't. I don't know why, but we both were thinking about it. But during the first pandemic, I don't know if you remember, they sold out. Well, not the first pandemic, the first wave during the pandemic. So
Hmm.
we the pandemic really kicked off from an endemic to a pandemic in March of 2020. I remember because that was when we were at work and they started sending people home. That's when remember we had that big powwow. The NBA season shut down, MLB shut down. Um, there were teams, most notably the Carolina Gamecocks women basketball team were ranked number one. They canceled the whole season. But a lot of people believe they would have won the championship that year. NBA went to a bubble type situation, and little by little, guess what was steaming along? Nintendo Switch. Um, and here's a fact that a lot of people don't realize: Doom Eternal came out the same day Animal Crossing did.
Yeah,
Guess what sold more?
yeah. Animal Crossing killed it.
You know what also sold more than Doom Eternal? The
What?
latest Barbie game sold more than Doom Eternal. And it was just one of those things that I'd been steadily watching. And it was like, is Handhelds back? Because remember the play date was announced, the analog. Um, you have a couple of other like they're not. I think it's the Ryzen handhelds. They come out one every year. Um, I'll see if I can find one and put it in the chat so people can see what I'm talking about. And then a little company, I don't know if you've heard of them, uh, called Valve, said we're going to drop a Steam Deck, and we both were kind of like, huh, will it get the support that Nintendo has given it? And it was everybody was up in the air. People were like, well, they didn't support the Steam. What's the thing we bought that streams your game from a computer, a desktop to a TV? The Steam Link.
Yeah, sounds right.
And because if you remember correctly, we bought those for $5.
Hmm.
They're selling for $100 now on eBay.
Are they?
Yep.
I've
Um,
never opened it. I should sell it.
I've never opened mine either. I'm
I
keeping
got I
mine.
got two of them.
Oh, you did? You went back and bought
Yeah,
another one?
I'm
So,
pretty sure I got two of them. Yeah.
so the Steam Deck was announced. We both put down the money, the deposit, and as I started watching, and then as I started watching all the stuff with the handhelds, Nintendo kept chugging along, and it kept getting games announced for it, and they were games that they were a scaled down version of the game, but for some reason it kept just chugging along. And even though the graphics didn't match up to what you would see,
I'll just be your Vanna White here and show off
okay,
props as you talk about them.
the graphics didn't match up. Nintendo Switch just kept being the little engine that could. And for a while, it was selling out most of your current gen consoles. You can go, for a while, you couldn't get them. They weren't on the shelves. They were sold out. They were the hottest ticket. Then it died down. Nintendo was able to get the stock on the shelves. You're able to go in and buy whatever you needed. And then the pandemic hit. Boom, they were gone again. Now they're back. They're back in stock. They now have an OLED version. Um, and I just started thinking about, are handhelds back? Like we're in a current gen of PlayStation 5 and Microsoft's um, Xbox
Series
Series
X.
X. But I
Yeah.
was like, here's a little thing. Here's a little the little engine that was Nintendo that never gave up on a handheld. They always had a handheld going along the same time as they had their main system. And I was just like, was Nintendo right all along, and Sony was the one who gave up too early on the Vita um, and PSP? And here comes Valve with their Steam Deck, and they were like, and everybody was calling it, the Switch killer. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it's a Switch killer. I think they both can exist
I
simultaneously.
sure. I think Nintendo has that name brand of Nintendo games. We
Hmm.
always talk about system sellers and games that are exclusive and whether or not we need
Hmm.
them. In this case, exclusives help prove the point of why you have those systems, right? Like for in the near future, you're never going to see a Mario or a Zelda or a Donkey Kong, Star Fox. You're never going to see those characters on any system but Nintendo.
No, well,
Um,
hold on. Legally, you'll never see them legally, but with emulators,
sure,
you
sure,
you
okay,
like
fine,
yeah,
sure,
and
but
that
you,
and that is what's fueling the handheld craze. Those
right, but
systems.
emulators, even with the emulators, you're still because emulators are illegal. It's not like Nintendo's making money off of that anyway. So whether it's illegal or not, that doesn't matter for Nintendo. It matters
No,
in the sense that they're not making that profit, but they're still making their money legally by you buying it on the system.
true, but
So
Nintendo is bothered by emulators because if they catch you and they find out that you're emulating their software, their IP, they will come at you with the force of the federal government. Like
sure.
they come at you like you broke laws, and they do
I mean,
not
you did
care.
break laws. You did break laws.
I mean,
If you don't own the games, you did break laws.
what I'm saying is like you murdered somebody. Nintendo comes after
Okay.
you like you are a gangster, if you're a murderer, you're a money launderer. You did break a law, you're right. But Nintendo does not play when it comes to their IP. They will sue,
Yeah.
and we have seen many stories about people getting F to the A over
Usually it's a lot.
emulators.
It's ROM hub sites that have like all the ROMs available for you to
Hmm.
download. Those are the big places that get hit. But stepping away from that for a second, for me, I think Nintendo has found a way to, because you said they've always been in the handheld business since the Game Boy. They've never not really had a handheld.
Hmm.
They have kind of figured out a way to have handheld and console. At one point, I don't know if you remember, they had the three pillar system. They were going to have three systems going all the time,
Hmm. Yep.
and then eventually they kind of phased out. I guess it would have been the Game Boy Advance SP kind of got phased out, and then you just had the Nintendo DS and the hand and the console, and then they kind of finally merged that together with the Switch. But I mean, for a while they always had, or for at least 10, 15 years, they had a three pillar system that was going strong, and they knew how to market that. Um, so I think the idea of the future of handhelds, what is it? We'll figure that out over the next 30, 40 minutes or whatever. But for me, I think the future of handhelds is strong. I think there are so many different companies that are trying to get into it, and I think that's healthy. That you have companies that are trying to get into it, and the companies that are trying to get into it are smart companies. You have Nintendo that's done it. You have Valve that just prints money no matter what. So
Hmm.
although the Valve Link wasn't successful, they're not giving up on the Steam Deck anytime soon. In fact, they've already said they have ideas for new generations of Steam Decks. So I mean,
Yep.
Steam Deck is
They they said that they're going to
they
do a Steam Deck too.
yeah, they see the profit in this. They're continuing to sell these, so that's going to be around for a while. Um, and you talked about uh, Ryzen
Ryzen,
making
and now
one.
here's another hold on. GPD makes a handheld. Um Look, I'm about to put it in. I don't hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna put in the GPD site so people can I think they're up to win 4 now. No, they're at win 3. So here's GPD site. They're at win 3. Every year they seem to put out a new system. Um, a little more and see, here's the thing. But there were always people making handheld PCs. The problem is no one made them inexpensive where you could. So I just put in the link to GPD site. They make they're up to win 3 now. Uh, you can buy it on their site or you can go to Amazon. It's at $1,000. Here's the specs for it. Um, 5.5-inch touchscreen mini laptop. CPU is a Intel Core i7, 16 gig on board, 16 gig RAM, 1 terabyte, and solid state. Hold on, I'm trying to get right now on Amazon. If you went to buy one directly from, um, there's only one left. So people have been making handhelds for a while. GPD, Ryzen, oh, is it Razer? Razer makes Ryzen, right?
Razer,
Razer.
Razer.
Razer
Yes.
is
Okay.
looking to get into it. Logitech has teamed up with Tencent to make a streaming handheld, which is about $300. So I was really thinking about it, and Ryzen does have one. I'm sorry. So Ryzen has one. That's they call it the one player. Here, let me put that in the so people can see. And I don't want to like. Sorry, I'm trying to find these without giving like Amazon because they ain't give us any money. Hold on a second. But you keep going.
Yeah. For me, a lot of people were talking about. We had a new person come in, and I can't remember who it was. It was. Let's see. Bring it up for a second. I need to highlight the person. Just comment. Claudaris, Cloud Eris. Maybe that's Cloud Eris. Welcome. Haven't seen you before. Welcome here. But Cloud Eris was saying Switch ain't got nothing on the Steam Deck, and I understand what they're saying from the standpoint of Steam Deck is more powerful. But I think what the Switch does have is going back to those exclusives, having that Mario Odyssey. People are, myself included. I want a Mario Odyssey too. I don't know why they didn't do DLC for it. I'm just curious what Nintendo EAD Team One is working on. I'm hoping it's a new Mario something or whatever. But you have those exclusives on Nintendo that make it the reason why you buy it. I
Yes.
think Nintendo has conditioned us for good and for bad. Nintendo had ever since, I guess maybe with the GameCube kind of ish, they were like, we're not going to be the most powerful. We're not going to worry about being the most powerful. Let's focus on being creative and innovative.
Yes.
And I think they've conditioned their audience to be like, we don't have to have the latest and greatest as long as it has a cool art style. Mario Kart 8 still looks great, and that came out on this Wii U. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild still looks great. It can probably chug a little bit at times, but the art style is what really pushes a lot of Nintendo software. So while I will say Steam Deck is awesome from the sense of getting all this cool stuff, I'm still gonna. I wouldn't say one or the other. For me, it's going to be both. It's not like I have to have one or the other. Nintendo makes a case for it being your second system, whether it's a Steam and a Switch, or Xbox console and a Switch, or a PS5 and a Switch. Nintendo's making that case for being the number two. And if you're consistently number two, I mean, you're still making money. You don't have to be number one to make a huge profit.
Well, here's the thing. For a while, they were number one as far as like selling systems because if you remember correctly, they had they were the number one selling system.
Sure.
It's not as and here's the thing that and here's the thing that Nintendo had going for it that a lot of people don't have going for it. Even the Steam Deck doesn't have going for it. You can only buy the Steam Deck through Valve. You can buy a Switch anywhere.
Sure.
You can go to Best Buy, Walmart, Target, GameStop. You can go to stores that we don't necessarily have here in our region. You could probably go to a Maynard's, a Fred's. There are places you can go to get one of these systems. Whereas Valve, starting out, you can only get a Steam Deck from Valve. Um, Another thing that I think sunk the handheld, which again, you have to be in that. Me and a buddy of mine were talking about sometimes it's not the, sometimes you don't have to be good, you have to come out at the right time. So
Hmm.
I think this is a great system. I love the PS Vita. I think the PS Vita was ahead of its time as far as like just the way it works, the way it hold the depth of it, the it is a solid gaming system. However, it just came at the right time, in my opinion, because
The
while
wrong
that was
time.
the wrong time,
Yeah.
um, it didn't get the support that it probably needed from Sony. It was hard to make games for it the way the system was set up. Was hard for developers to make stuff. And let's be honest, this is a console killer. Your phone is just as powerful, if not more powerful. It's definitely more powerful than this.
Sure.
I mean, if you look at the specs for an iPhone 14, that phone shoots in 4K.
Hmm.
I mean, so companies were like, why would I make a handheld when I'm up against a brand new generation of phone every year? Every year, a
Speaking of
brand new phone comes out.
speaking of phone games, shameless plug. They're not paying us, but I'm really enjoying Marvel Snap right now.
Mhm.
I think it's on all mobile devices and it's probably on Steam. It's a digital collectible card game.
Yep.
I downloaded it yesterday and I've been playing it probably every other hour, just waiting for stuff. It's a free to play
So
style game, but I mean,
Samuel Jackson had an ad for it. He
get
did an ad for the.
busy. Oh, I have to check that out. I haven't seen that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm enjoying that. So I mean, yeah, you're right. The idea of having the phone on the go with you everywhere, it's like the perfect little Trojan horse of like you're always going to have this on you, so you can always download something quick. And I think the one thing that phones haven't successfully tackled, at least just the phone by itself, is being a great controller for like every type of game. Now, if you can get accessories to make it work, but like just the phone
and that's
itself
and that
is
is where go
yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, just like just the phone itself. It's still like it's good for games like if you just need to use your thumb or whatever, or just swiping or whatever. But to like sometimes if you really want to get like in the
Fruit
nitty gritty,
Ninja,
I still don't think.
Angry
Yeah, sure.
Birds. Yeah.
Marble Snap, whatever it is. But I mean, yeah, just certain like maybe more strategic like RTSs. I don't know that they work extremely well on a mobile phone without a controller adapter.
And so it's funny you mentioned that because now people are making adapters so that you can play video games on your phone. The most popular one right now, I think, is it
Backbone.
Razer? Huh?
It's the backbone.
Backbone. Is that from Razer too, right?
I don't know who makes it, but I just know it's called the backbone. Everybody, because they have so many different versions. I think there's one that's styled to look like a PS5 controller now.
Yes. So, uh, Backbone One. It's a PlayStation edition. Here, I'll put it in the chat um, for you guys. Let me go ahead and drop that in there. So here's the Backbone One, which then allows people to play whatever games they have on their phone. Um, for a while, handhelds were dead, and then all of a sudden, they came back. And part of it, I think, was
Define dead.
handhelds were dead from your major manufacturers, as far as like not being able to get something to where you can play your AAA games on a handheld, being supported by your AAA companies, your AAA manufacturers. And it seemed like the only people who cared about it were your niche retro gamers who were building or who were having little devices built, your high end uh, computer peripheral people who were building these huge, cumbersome handhelds that were basically gaming laptops trying to smush down. And it wasn't until recently that they were at a price point that was affordable. If you go right now and look at the GPD and look at the specs, yes, it is a nice handheld system. Uh, 1 terabyte, 16 gigs, Intel Core 7 processor. The screen flips up. So um, it's nice. They're trolling a little bit when they talk about battery power, all the things you can do. Um, as far as the Steam Deck, that thing is $1,000. So it's not made for the average consumer. Whereas you can go to a store,
When you say that thing, you're talking about the GPD, not the Steam Deck,
The
right?
GPD Win 3.
Right.
So that's $1,000. A Switch is $400, and you can get them used for even cheaper than that. You can go to a GameStop, you can go to a used video game store and get a Switch almost as close to 150 to $200, the first generation. Um, I credit retro gamers, people who wanted to play every iteration of their handheld game, emulators, for really keeping handheld gaming alive in spite of Nintendo and everything Nintendo did and does to keep emulators down. They have trucked along. If you go right now, one of the hottest systems out right now is called the Analog. Um, and I will put that.
You got to stop putting links in here. They're not paying for us for this.
uh,
Why are you giving these people these links?
because I'm trying to let people understand what we're talking about.
Oh, then you should do like a screen share and show the photo of the thing.
Oh, I can do that too. So here
I'm
it is.
just saying.
The analog is 219, basically $220. It comes in white or black. There are peripherals for it that allows you to either play your Game Gear, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, not Neo Geo, TurboGrafx 16s. They have cables that come with it. They even make little systems that go with it. Uh, Little things like that have been chugging along, bringing and keeping handheld systems in the zeitgeist to a certain extent. So it wasn't just the retro gamers. You have companies who are like, here's a niche market that we can capitalize on. We don't have to make any games for it. There's already a ton of games for it. And that's
Hmm.
the beauty of the Steam Deck. Steam Deck doesn't have to make any games for it.
Steam
You
doesn't
li-
have to make any games for Steam Deck.
no, I'm saying that, yeah, Steam doesn't have to make any games for the Steam Deck.
Right.
You have an entire website dedicated to Steam games, and they're now up to 6,000 games that are compatible with your Steam Deck. Um, and
I think the
that's
one thing.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say. I think the one thing that Cloud Eris was talking about before, in terms of Nintendo Switch not having anything on Steam Deck, is Steam Deck does, and I don't know the metrics, but I feel comfortable saying this. It probably has a wider range of support from publishers than Nintendo does, only because there's so much more on Steam that you can get. So even people who aren't officially doing stuff through the right channels, they can still get stuff up on the Steam library. So it may support on the Steam Deck. And Steam itself is such a the Steam Deck is such an open system that people are modding it all the time, and Valve is okay with that. They're not really trying to fight like, hey, you can do whatever you want with the system. I think there was a commercial, and this was caught by either somebody at IGN or Polygon, who talked about a recent Steam Deck commercial by Valve that showed an emulator on the screen.
Yes.
Clearly, they didn't want that to be there. It was just, it was an accident. But they have since changed that commercial. But
So
that
basically,
ad was there.
it was a promotional piece that was done by the developers. It wasn't an actual like real commercial. It was a piece of promotional material that showed off the Valve, because so basically recently Valve has done, they're quite proud of themselves. So they have released, there's an ebook that you can go and look at that has every iteration of the Steam Deck that they came up with before they released it. They actually had a earnings call that talked about where they were, how many Steam Decks they sold, and they also in the actual book talked about what's next for Steam Deck 2, which then let people know, oh, this isn't just a one-off, because that was the biggest scare. The biggest scare was is that Valve was going to make this, all these people are going to buy it, there's going to be nothing that is there to support it, and you're going to be left holding the bag, a la a Stadia. Um, and Valve says, no, we're not doing that. We're in this for the long haul because, like you said, we don't have to make games for this. And here's another thing developers have just figured out, and they're learning to do it. Yes, your game may not run on the Steam Deck right now because you have to use it, you have to reformat it or so that it runs on Linux, because the Steam Deck uses a Linux um, user interface. I believe it's Proton, and so you it's not running on Windows. So there's a lot of games on Steam Deck that run off of Windows. Most notably, your Destiny, your Destinies, and some of your other games that use anti-cheat software. They have to run off Windows. So they're working to get those games over. Developers are realizing if we can get this game Steam Deck verified, that's a whole new subset of a million people we can sell this game to again. And
Hmm.
here's another thing that's really fueling this game or these games: the fact that Nintendo Switch, as much as it is selling, you can't play Elden Ring the way it was made on the Switch. You can't play Spider remastered or the PC version or the PS version on Switch. You can play that God of War. You can't play on the Switch. These AAA titles that you would only be able to play on a console play smoothly on a Switch. I mean, on a Steam Deck. They don't have to be ported down. Go look at what The Witcher 3 looks like on the Switch versus the Steam Deck. Which one do you want to play? And that does make a difference for people. Um, that is what is really helping fuel the Steam Deck and helping people to buy one of these things. Um, I'm good with the Steam Deck that I have. I don't think I'd probably buy a two unless it's years down the future, and hopefully it is years down the future, because that's a lot of money. It came in three different versions. So there was a 200. Uh, there was the 64 gig, 256, and the 512. And then each of them you can get expanded memory by using an SD card. But here's the thing: the Steam Deck just announced that they've hit 1 million units sold.
Hmm.
That means a million people put down their $5, logged in, got in the queue, waited until the next year to get their Steam Deck. Now, Steam Deck is at a point where you can actually buy a Steam Deck and it comes in 2 weeks. That's the game changer for Steam Deck that a lot of people didn't think they would get to. They've gotten through all their pre-orders. They've got one more round, I think, of third quarter pre-orders that are coming out at the same time as if a brand new person, if one of you right now went to go buy a Steam Deck, you could pay for it in full and it comes in 2 weeks. That's the game changer.
Why do you think that's a game? You keep saying game changer. Why is that a game changer to you?
Because before, it's one of those things where it's proof of concept in hand. You've already proven people wrong that you're not going to support this. People who thought, oh, this is a flash in the pan. You've already proven people wrong that you weren't going to be able to meet demands or orders. You've already proven people wrong that this is now a system that has to be reckoned with, to the point where other people are now looking to copy you, because you're now the leader in handheld gaming when it comes to PC handheld gaming. Nintendo may be the quintessential handheld gaming king, queen, whatever you want to call it, but Valve in less than a year has now made themselves a force to be reckoned with basically a million units sold, because they have the library that goes along with it. You can easily just go on Steam Deck right now. And here's another thing that Nintendo does not do a good job of, and Steam is probably pushing them to do this. Nintendo doesn't like to put stuff on sale, whereas Steam puts everything on sale. Game is too expensive for you? Wait a couple of weeks, wait a couple of months. They have a summer, spring, fall, winter sale. Right now,
Sure.
you can go buy Resident Evil 2 and 3 for $11.99. They both run on the Steam Deck. One is verified, Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 3 says it's unsupported. But there's an entire community on Reddit on the Steam Deck that will tell you, here's how you tweak, here's how you change a couple of settings. Boom, you're playing Resident Evil 3. It's $11.99.
Yeah. We talk about Nintendo all the time and the crappy stuff that they do. I don't think Steam's practices are going to change how they do their sales. I don't think they care enough about it, just because they're not really trying to compete with Steam,
I think
because
they
they're not worried about that PC stuff. They've proven time
I
and time again they have their own thing. They do not care about sales.
I think they don't care about sales to a certain extent, but I do. If you've noticed, that's when the Steam Deck says, here's something I started paying attention to. Notice when the Steam Deck sale goes on, there's a Nintendo sale right neck and neck.
Have
Start
you
paying.
seen the prices? Have you seen the prices of the Nintendo sale?
That's Here's the thing. That's where they get you, because they're not discounting them as much as Steam is, but they're still running that sale. It's that whole idea of
Sure.
tricking people into believing we jack the price up, so then when we knock 20% off of it, we still get that money. So like when a business goes out of sale, and like everything's on sale, it's 30% off. Well, you're charging. That's what Nintendo's doing. And Steam, I think, is fueling that to a certain extent, because they're doing the sale at the same time Steam is. They're just not knocking the price down like Steam does. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is like they may do a sale, but like in terms of like the sale being substantial or worthwhile, it's like it's whatever.
I agree with you on
Because
that.
I'm looking at this. I mean, I do agree that they are doing the sale, but I'm like, this didn't make me buy anything off of
True.
the sale.
But that's why I said the difference maker and the game changer for Steam Deck is right now. Go to Steam. Steam will tell you exactly who the number one game is, how many people are playing that game. Will give you reviews of that game. Steam gives you points, so when you buy a game, you get points into their little merchandise, so you can buy things to spruce up your profile, buy things that so you can change your avatar. All of those different things is part of the Steam community. Steam already built. They just now have a vehicle that you don't have to have a full blown custom PC, or you don't have to have the highest resolution PC to play these games. You can pop on a Steam Deck right now. On my Steam Deck, I can turn my Steam Deck on. A game that I just got, it was $3. I just finished playing it. Uh,
None of your info is going to pop up, right?
no,
Okay, make sure none of your
no.
stuff just pops up. Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. Vanquish. Remember that little
Hmm.
game? It
Sure.
was like $3.99. And that's what Steam is good at. Every now and then you'll see a game that normally it's $20, $30. It'll be $3. It'll be $4. You I played this game for 9 hours. Boom. It keeps you coming back. And that's
The
the
one
thing I
thing.
think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the one thing I don't like about Steam, and I could be wrong, but Steam, you have to have you need to pretty much have an always online connection for Steam, right?
No.
No, you can be offline and play stuff.
Hmm. I do it all the time.
Okay, maybe the games I have are require online connection because there was a couple
It
times.
depends on the game. So like No Man's Sky, I play that a lot at work because it keeps me calm. Um, I don't play it. It's not online at work. It's
Okay,
not hooked up to the internet. I just play it and I just do the little farming things, kind of like Animals Crossing. I just do my little things and I keep it moving. Um,
sure.
here's so And here's another thing: some of these games are free, or they're damn near free when they go on sale. Game that you tried to get me to get that I was like, no, 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 no. Ori Will of the Wisp. Both of those games are like a couple of dollars.
Hmm.
Some of these games that are exclusive games that are great games end up being a couple of dollars that you would pay for a coffee at Starbucks. And that's where Steam to me comes out on top when it comes to the handheld because they've already got the UI built in. They've already got the Steam store built in. All you got to do is just pay the money and then download your game and you're up and running. And that is the thing that I think Steam has over a lot of these other handheld PCs. They're making it so easy to use. Now they have a lot,
Uh,
don't get me wrong, they have a lot to make up for
yeah.
you to improve the system. You can't dual boot. You can't do Windows games are hard to. Their other stores are not hard, but they're not as easy. So your Epic Store, your GOG, but you can get the codes from Humble Bumble, uh, Humble
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 bundle.
Bundle works. Just type that code in.
Yeah.
Um,
Ken from Chicago was asking earlier when we were talking about Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing and how Animal Crossing sold more. Ken from Chicago was asking how much was Doom Eternal versus Animal Crossing. I want to say they were the same price, and if not, Animal Crossing might have been $10 cheaper. So it's not like Animal Crossing was so much cheaper and that's why it sold well. It's just
mm,
there were so many people stuck in their house wanting to do something besides shoot somebody in the face. With shooting somebody in the face can be cathartic. That's fine, but
I don't love
sometimes
it.
when you are dealing with a global wide sickness, you may not feel like shooting somebody in the face. You may just want to plant some flowers.
And here's the thing: something that Doom did not get, that Animal Crossing did, is word of mouth to the point where Animal Crossing was part of NPR's series on how people were using gaming and entertainment to get through the pandemic. NPR spent an hour talking about Animal Crossing and people who play Animal Crossing and why Animal Crossing is so popular. Doom Eternal, as great as it is an awesome game. I love it. Diarrhea of Christmas Lights. There is nothing like punching a demon in the face and ripping his spine out, stomping on and shooting him in the face with a shotgun, using your grappling hook, hitting another demon in the face and punching him in the face. There's nothing more cathartic than that. You aren't on NPR talking about this game.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that Animal Crossing had going for it. That Animal Crossing was a game that you can put on. It wasn't violent. It was just a mood stabilizer to a certain extent where kids can play it, my wife can play it, I could play it. It was just a fun, low, chill game.
I ended up getting it. It came out in March of 2020. I got it in
Mm,
July, my birthday month of 2020. Once I played it, I probably played it at least 20 to 30 minutes daily for 2 years straight. It became part of my routine of I need to check
mm.
on this, I need to check on my flowers, see how stuff is going. Let me talk to all these neighbors. It was there was something very cathartic about it and zen like about just having this little nice routine. I don't play it as much now, but I definitely got. And again, I didn't pay for it, but if I had, I definitely got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah. And that's why I said, and so my question is now, what is the future of handheld gaming? Because now we know where we stand. Now we know
Hmm.
who the players are. What's next? Because Valve has said we're in this for the long haul. We have plans for Steam Deck 2. Nintendo keeps telling us that they're not making a a Nintendo Switch Pro.
Sure.
Um, we know Logitech has made a handheld game. Hold on, let me Logitech.
While you look at that, I'll tackle Nintendo. So what Nintendo's official stance is, there are no plans currently to release a Nintendo Switch Pro. That's essentially what they're saying, right?
Yep.
But all the reports, my man from Bloomberg now,
Bloomberg. Hmm.
Jason Schreiber, Um, he and other people are reporting they're working on something. So it's either going to be a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro or something. They're clearly working on something because as great as Nintendo is, I'm a Nintendo stan. I love it to death, and people in the chat are as well. It's definitely showing its age, right? I'm excited to play whatever what is it, Breath of the Wild, Tear of the Kingdom, whatever the second Breath of the Wild is going to be. But
Mhm.
it's probably it would benefit from having some type of system upgrade so it can run a little bit faster, so their frame rate's a little more stable. Um, so I think they're working on some sort of sequel to the system. When it will be released, if I had to guess, I would say 2024 is when we see another Nintendo system. Because that'd have been 7 years. That's a pretty long lifeline for a console.
Yep.
Um, you had your DS Lite, not DS Lite, your Switch Lite, your Switch OLED. You essentially have three different models out that you can get. 7 years on the market, I think that's enough time for you to usher, sunset that and bring in something new.
Um, so right now, so you believe that there will be a Nintendo Switch Pro, right?
Oh, well, there will be a new system. I don't know if it's going to be called a Pro or if it's the Switch 2.
Which
And
one?
that's where you kind of get,
Which one, if
huh?
you had to put money down, which one do you think you're going to get? Because Nintendo has notoriously said we're not making a Switch Pro, as far as so all in.
Nintendo could be having its cake and eating it too. Maybe they have a Switch 2 that really people might say, oh, this is kind of like a Switch Pro, but they just call it a Switch 2, so they can say, hey, like we said, we weren't making a Switch Pro, we're making a Switch 2. I mean,
Mhm,
I think that's how you have your cake and eat it too. I think it'll be more powerful. I couldn't give you the specs because I don't know that. I don't know them well enough, but
mhm.
I think Nintendo may try to push for 4K gaming on a console. I think that's probably one of the biggest things holding them back. Now, personally, people talk about this, but I don't know. I personally don't need 4K gaming in a handheld
Handheld.
because it's such a small screen. If I want 4K gaming, I want it on a nice TV,
Well, let me
on an
ask you this.
OLED 65-inch TV.
I understand that, however, but you do want the gaming system itself to be able to produce 4K if you're going to hook it up to that. So would it not behoove
Sure.
them to be able to make it so that the output is 4K, so that when you, because Nintendo, when you eventually hook it up to your dock, you can do 4K gaming.
Right. So like in handheld or in dock mode, sure, 4K, but I don't really need it to be 4K on the screen. Some people do. Me personally, I don't
Yeah.
need that in my screen. Just give me performance enough to give me a strong frame rate. Give me 60 frames. I'm always going to say frames over performance over fidelity. So give me higher frame rate than more visual clarity because I just want responsiveness in my characters. And if the
Um,
game is so good, you know, if the gameplay is great, I don't necessarily need it to be 4K graphics.
so Rain just asked a very good question. I just asked Josh. I just answered your question. Here's is that Renee? Yeah, that's Renee.
We
Renee
have
said,
asked Renee that before. I think it's Renee.
okay. Do you think Amazon is looking to handheld games with its gaming section? Yes. Amazon is looking to monetize everything it can. And this is the thing that Amazon has that no one else has, and that we'll get into later. No one else has the data like Amazon has when it comes to sales and what people are buying. Because every time you log on to Amazon or have Amazon open, they are tracking everything you do. Every
Sure.
time you talk to that damn Alexa, it is tracking everything you do. And Amazon is using that data and saying, what is the cost benefit analysis to making a handheld game? Keep in mind, they're already in the gaming with Luna. They already have a deal with Epic because they give away free games every month through their Luna and through Epic Store. So don't think that they're not trying to come up with an idea of how to get into handheld gaming or gaming paraphernalia because you can buy a Luna controller that hooks up to your TV. Keep in mind, this is the same group of people who are definitely hurting and helping the book industry with their Kindle. So there's no way in the world that there's not a room of idiots and geniuses, executives, and everybody who has a hand in this looking at handheld gaming or looking at some type of apparatus for gaming to say, how do we make this work? Because we already have a customer base for it. These are the same people. Because watch this. You ever notice when you type in something to Amazon and it always has a suggested or sponsored by? If I type in
Hmm.
an action figure on Amazon, I go, I want to look at a Marvel Legends. That goddamn DC multiverse universe action figure shows up. And I'm like, I didn't ask for this. You know why? Because they know if you're looking at action figures, you're probably also looking at this as well. And it's
Sure.
the same thing when you buy a video game or you type in a video game, they look at that and they say, you said you like this. Well, did you think about Ratchet and Clank as well as you were looking up Deathloop? It's on sale.
Hmm.
So, Renee, they are definitely looking at getting into handheld gaming because they're looking at saying, we want to make more money. We got more rockets we want to send to space.
Um, Katie, good.
Shy.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Okay. Cool. If
Hope
you
us
good, I'm
fire.
good. All right.
She knows what she did
Anyway.
to me.
Okay. Um, Zayla Maru said. Let me go back to his.
Hmm. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find Zayla Maru. I like to see Sega bring back the Nomad as an updated handheld with its old games pre-installed. I think that's an interesting idea because we know people love the retro consoles and the mini consoles.
Hmm.
If we nobody has done, and I guess because it's already handheld, it would be weird to do a retro mini handheld. Like I don't think anybody wants a Game Boy Mini, like a SNES Mini or NES Classic or whatever. But I do like the idea of having like all the Sega games put on a Sega Nomad, essentially taking the Sega Genesis collection, the minis one and two, putting
Hmm.
all those games together and all of them putting on a Sega on a Nomad system, and maybe doing some sort of online subscription service where you get 100 games automatically. But if you want to get every single game, maybe you got to pay $4.99 or $9.99 a month, and then
Hmm.
they'll add 15 more. I think that could work. I think there's definitely people who would buy it. I just don't know beyond Sega, and I don't even know if Sega's doing it. Beyond them licensing somebody to make these consoles, the mini consoles for them, they since the Dreamcast, they've really been like, nah, we're good on not
Yeah.
touching consoles anymore. We can
And,
just
and
make games.
and even their last couple of handhelds that they came out with, they didn't even make those. They had somebody contracted to make those mini Sega, whatever you want to call them. They didn't make those themselves. Um, and here's another thing that I think people are not paying attention to, or maybe they are, and maybe we're just not noticing them. Logitech. So I have the Logitech up, and I'm not going. I'm just going to put the name of it because Michael's like they ain't pay for this. So Logitech's
Well, I'm
G.
just telling, just do a screen share.
Okay. Um, So I'm gonna put here's a name you guys can look up. Look, this is Logitech's new handheld uh, system. It's called the Logitech G Cloud Gaming Handheld. Um, if you look at the promotional materials for this, do you know what you see off to the side in the UI? Microsoft and Steam. You see Microsoft, and what does Microsoft have that Michael has been touting and he's been right about since day one? Game Pass. And what does Microsoft not give a shit about? Whether or not you buy an Xbox. They care about if you buy a Game Pass because that's $14.99 a month that they got no matter what.
Hmm.
And that's what they want. They want you, and that is why they spent $1 billion buying ZeniMax, Activision, and every other game company that comes and developer that comes with that so that they can continue to make games, so they can continue to put that on their service so that you will buy that service. They don't care what handheld you have. And eventually, once Valve figures it out, when Valve figures out how to do Windows boot, please believe you are going to be able to play Game Pass on this. And
Oh,
that
for
is
sure.
and that is when Sony's going to realize that they fucked up. And that's when
Uh,
Sony's going to realize that they need to do something.
I mean, I still say it probably won't happen, but Phil Spencer would love some kind of way they could work out a deal where you could play Game Pass on a PlayStation. That they would be like, hey, even if it meant like they had to pay Sony some type of fee just so it's there, they would eat that up because that's just
Sony
their name being everywhere.
Sony right
Now,
now is upset because you know exactly what they said about Activision. They were like, yeah, Call of Duty can be on there for the next couple of years. And that's all they said. And Sony got its little panties in a bunch because you can't get mad when they played your game against you. And that's
Sure.
exactly what Sony did. They got mad because Microsoft pulled a page out of their book. And I don't like exclusivity. I really don't. I think but that's the game we're playing. And Sony can't get mad because Microsoft did to them what they've been doing to everybody else for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so do you think we're ever going to hit, looking in the future, are we ever going to hit a market with oversaturation with handhelds?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so because now we're a mobile society. That's one of the things that I think America needs to get off of its butt about when it comes to a global society as far as global transportation. Here's the thing: if you go to Europe, if you go to China, you go to especially Japan, they have bullet trains. They have all this mass transit that allows you to go from place to place. So that allows you to commute. That allows you not to have to drive. Those people are buying these handhelds.
Hmm.
You better believe that if you have a job that you have to commute. So let's pick a perfect example. And let's say you live in Baltimore and you work in DC. You take the train from the city to DC. You better believe you're listening to a podcast. You got your phone, you have your book, you have everything. This right here is the game changer that is going to allow you to make that commute more palpable. And if you can get a system that allows you to be able to play games, that allows you to be able to stream YouTube, that allows you to put Netflix on it, that allows you to do all the things that you do on a laptop, on a console, you have just sold and you have made $1 billion. And that is where Nintendo has messed up. And that's where everybody else is going to slide into that marketplace. Nintendo, notoriously, not putting Bluetooth on its system.
Hmm.
Nintendo not allowing and making it a closed system that doesn't allow you to have Netflix, Hulu, and all those other things available
Well,
to
it
you.
does. It does have Hulu.
Ooh,
I'm just saying. You said
I,
Hulu. They have Hulu. I
okay.
know what you're saying.
But the thing is, you don't have these things that I can get on here or I can get on here, and that's where Nintendo's making its mistake. Now, don't get me wrong; they're still going to make their money, but that's what's going to start making other companies like your Microsoft, like your Sony, say, wait a minute, we can put all of our games from our PlayStation Store onto an apparatus and then put on all of our other stuff. Because keep in mind, for the longest you could buy movies, I don't know if you still can because I haven't logged on my PlayStation store in a while. You could buy movies, television shows. Um, Sony messed up by not making that easier to navigate. Because
Sure.
now, if you did have it, that excuse me, where it was easier to navigate, and you have a console that allows you to take this with you, like a phone, like a
Hmm.
Steam Deck. I mean, nobody's giving that up. That's like that. That is a game changer.
I want to take a moment for the new people in the chat. Hello, this is the We Tryin' channel. You may see us either at We Tryin' on YouTube or Twitch, or you may be
Mhm.
coming to us from News 19 Nerds on YouTube. The News 19 Nerds is something that Leroy and I started years ago. Great passion project. We are trying to spread out and do our own thing, so we started the We Tryin' channel. So if you're on News 19 Nerds, we ask that you come over and follow us at We Tryin'.
Yep.
Essentially, this is what we do. We talk about random stuff. We try to talk at least once a week, usually Saturday nights, about random stuff that just pops in our head. Sometimes we'll take suggestions from chat, that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Mhm.
you can use find us here Saturdays, and you'll see a bunch of YouTube videos of us doing trailer reactions and stuff like that. I'm going to run through some. Oh, Leroy's going to do it. Oh, he's doing some other stuff right now. He's trying to go
What?
through
What you going to run through?
the captions and stuff for people how
Oh,
they can find us.
well, I was gonna. We can do that in a second. I saw Josh had a very good question. So when you go through that, make sure you go back to Josh's question because I think that's a very good one. When he talks about the screen size of handhelds and what we're going to end up with considering phones and handhelds. Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, follow us at We Tryin' at YouTube, Facebook. Follow us at We Tryin' Y'all at Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. That's it. Just giving you guys a heads up of where we are, where you can find us and catch more of our content. So let's go back to Josh here for a second. He said, "My bad for the typos. Hey man, nobody's a great speller. It's all right. We'll get through it." He says, "Just thinking how phone screens increase over time. I'm wondering how big are the handheld gaming system screens will get. Are we going to end up 11-inch handheld gaming systems or more?" I mean, the Steam Deck has a pretty big handheld or a pretty big screen, I think.
How big is that screen?
No clue, but I mean the system itself is pretty bulky compared
Okay.
to like the Switch or whatever. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't
Hold on.
know
You
if
said
we're
the
ever gonna.
Steam Deck, or you said the
Yeah,
Switch? The
the
Steam.
Steam
No,
Deck.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, the Steam Deck is bulkier compared to the Switch. Um, Having said that, I don't know if you're ever going to get to an 11 inch because at some point you have to run into the idea of okay, now it's too wieldy and you might as well just be a laptop or a console because it's so
Hmm.
big. I remember when like phones started getting bigger and bigger or whatever, and people joked about Jinko jeans making a comeback because you need a jean so big to have
Hmm.
those deep pockets to put something in there like that. So I mean, I don't see it getting much bigger than what it is. I think they've kind of found that sweet spot because for two reasons. One, the system needs to be it does need to be portable, and also the bigger you get, the more you're going to cost in terms of making an OLED screen or whatever to get that picture clarity that you want. So
And
I think they found that sweet spot.
the bigger you get, the more battery life you're going to have and use, and then also your fan. And we both know that Steam Deck fan is not quiet,
No, it's not. It's very
and they're
loud.
working at getting it down, but it ain't down yet.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think it's yeah. I think JWAGS 412 says I think it's 8 inches. Cool. I mean
It
that's enough.
says I'm on the site. It says it's 7 inches diagonal. Refresh rate is 60 hertz. And keep in mind, it is a touchscreen. So um, again, I'm not trying to be a show for Valve. I know it probably sounds like that, but Valve saw a niche market and was like, "Hey, man, we can get more people to buy it." Because here's the thing, I was not a PC gamer. I stopped being a PC gamer until Steam Deck came out. My computer, just to give you a little backstory, when me and my sister had a condo, I had a computer. She used to call it Command Center. I built that computer myself. I put everything together, and the way the power happened over there, we used to get a lot of power outages, and my surge protector blew. My computer caught on fire. That was almost 7 years. That was at least 10 years ago. I never bought another computer after that.
I feel like your surge protector didn't do its job.
It did not. But
Was that was he?
in the Surge Protector's defense, it was old, and I had been meaning to upgrade it to an up system, and I just never got
Oh,
around to it.
okay.
And I used to get like we used to get like you would hear crackling outside from the transformers and stuff like that. We were in a bad area. Um, they
Okay.
they subsequently fixed it after I left, and they sent like a note, "Hey, we're doing work," and my sister's like, "No, I don't have outages anymore," and I'm like. After that, I had not bought another computer. I was like, I was done. I wasn't into computer gaming. You know what I did? I went into console gaming. Then Steam Deck announced and said, hey, all those computer games you wanted to play that you never got a chance to, come on over. Steam, you know what Steam Deck did? Steam Deck pulled a Source Awards 99, a 97. Suge Knight came on screen and told everybody, you tired of your producers dancing in your videos? Come on over to Death Row Records. And I was like, I'm sold. And I came over to Death Row Records
And then Valve threw you over a balcony on the ledge
and
and
said,
said,
this is
"Hey,
ours are.
right, this is how we do our stuff.
And you
Deal
know what
with
I
us."
said? I said, okay,
What's that?
Val, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I know my lesson. But I mean,
yeah,
that's that's exactly what happened. And so for those people not want to get into computer gaming, or computer gaming is a little too much for them,
yeah,
this is an easy access point. This allows them to get into computer gaming without having to build a tower, without having to know what kind of ROM or what kind of RAM you need, SSD devices, all of that stuff. And here's another thing too that a lot of people are noticing: Valve has now authorized certain cell phone company repair sites to be able to fix your Steam Deck if it breaks. So you don't just have to send it to Valve. You can take it into, I think it, what is it called? iFixit, or the what's the big one? The cell phone repair company. There's a
I don't
big
know.
one that's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. I had to take one of my phones there, and they will fix it for you in house.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, we were talking about computer or war stories and whatnot. I had a computer for a while. It like fried,
Hmm.
and I actually took it to a friend of the show, Andy Peeler, to look at.
Hmm.
Because you know he's all about computer stuff. He knows it
Yep.
all. And he was like, "Yeah, this is dead." I was like, "Okay." So I actually left that computer with them in the engineering room at WLTX, and Andy was going to help me build another computer, but I never got around to it until I
Hmm.
went up to Charlotte, bought different pieces for a computer, got somebody to put it together, and I just bought a 3090 Ti on Amazon for like $900 or
Because you
something.
bought it during the Amazon Prime days, right?
Whatever their October sale was. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I mean it's a great deal for a 3090. It's definitely more powerful than anything I'll ever use it for, but I mean that should
Yeah,
last me for a long time. So I'm excited because it comes at the end of this month. So I'll install that, and hopefully that'll actually help us with our production stuff in terms of
yeah.
doing more videos and stuff. But we'll see. We'll talk about that later behind the scenes.
And
But that's
so,
just future for y'all. But go ahead.
and again, I'm talking about Valve a lot because this thing. So I didn't see it in the comments. So sorry, I saw it in the comments, but I wasn't able to get to it. Somebody talked about the fact that there's a dock for this now, or you can hook this up and put it in desktop mode. You can. You can put this in desktop mode. You can play this and hook this up to a TV just like a Switch. And JWags 412 says Valve saw the success of the Switch and they decided to improve upon it. All Nintendo has is exclusives, with some sell more than half the install base. I think these two, and I'll put the comment up so people can see it. I think these two can live in the same universe. I think there's enough people who Nintendo can still sell their Switch to. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't given up on possibly getting a Switch. I'm not getting a Switch now because Michael warned me against it when I was about to buy one. He was like, "Don't get the first generation. If you're going to buy one, buy an OLED." And I was like, "If I'm going to buy an OLED, I might as well just wait for whatever the new one comes out." And he's like, "That's smart." He said, "Because I'm not buying the OLED because I'm going to wait." And that's what made me wait. But I haven't given up on Nintendo stuff. My wife is a big Nintendo fan. She loves Mario. She kicks my ass all the time whenever we play Mario Kart. So I rage quit because I don't like when I'm in first and then I go to six because she figured out she knows all the entrances and the exits to get through and hits me with uh
A blue shell,
a blue shell or whatever. I don't care. I don't want to play it anymore with her. Um, but
man.
but she still enjoys Nintendo. Two of my cousins still are Nintendo fans. My brother has not bought a Steam Deck. He has a computer, but guess what he does have? He has a Switch.
Hmm.
And so I think these two things can live in harmony. I just think they're for two different types of gamers. My wife can play a Switch and it not be overwhelming as far as like the buttons on a controller because she's like, I got out when it was just four buttons. Now it's four buttons. It's a Y. It's an X. That's it's a little too much for her. But she holds the Switch. She holds the Steam Deck, and she's like, okay, I can understand this. I can get this.
Hmm.
So I think these two things can live. Now, Nintendo, J-Wags is right. Nintendo needs to get its shit together because that new Switch Pro or whatever it is needs to come installed with Bluetooth, needs to be able to not just be OLED, it needs to be able to have all the things that was missing on the original Switch, which is Netflix, HBO Max, or at least allow you the ability to put those on there.
Okay, that's wishful wish.
Um,
I don't know what's
I'll give
happening
you.
over there.
She's looking for something.
Anyway, okay, yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, Horbert, yeah, man, you are late, bruh. But I mean, it's cool. Not your fault. Well, you know we're not consistent. We were telling new people we try to stream on Saturdays around 9:30 when we remember to do it. But that is the perfect way to end this stream. We've been going an hour. I don't need to catch any domestic violence. I don't want to be an accessory to that. So I feel like we're
It's
going
not
to be
over there.
done.
Stop touching that. Those are baby bibs. Get out of there. I wish I had a water bottle like they do for cats. Yeah, those are bibs underneath there. I don't know where the hat is, woman.
He doesn't know where the hat is, woman. On that, y'all, thank you for being with us. We had a great chat.
Mhm.
Glad to see everybody chatting in the comments here. For all the new people, follow us again. Let me bring it up just so you know where to find us. We trying Facebook, YouTube. We
Oh,
trying y'all. Facebook, our Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. What's up?
um, also, Because we, on this video, I do answer the comments once it goes up. Pay no
Yeah.
attention to this woman. What was your favorite handheld? I would really like to know. Tell your friends, tell them to watch this. Join in on the chat at the end of this video in the comment section and put what your fit, because we didn't ask people this. This is our bad. What is your favorite handheld? What
No, we
handheld?
did ask them.
We did.
We asked them at the beginning of chat.
I don't remember that. A lot
Yeah,
has
a
been
few a few
happening.
people responded, but yeah.
Okay. This actually fits my head that it's supposed to be.
Is that
God,
for
I
a
can't.
is that
What?
for a child?
Yes. This came
Yep.
from Firehouse Grill. This is for my son. He's now in the fire engines. This is his hat. It fits my head because me and my son have probably the same size head.
Fantastic. On that, folks, we're going to be out. If you want to catch more of our content, go to our YouTube channel. We put up a bunch of trailer reactions to
Hmm.
movies, to video games. It's all up there now.
Yep.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and help grow this channel so we can do more stuff. But what got you through the week? Let's do that. We are at second.
Um, Honestly, oh, the library. Oh, yeah, the library, man. Man, I've been reading library books left and right. I got 13 library books. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you have not checked out your local library, they've got everything from movies, video games, books on tape. Our library here in Columbia, South Carolina, Richland County Library. Shout out to Richland County Library, a friend of the show. They have actual
We actually
booths.
should try to get them on the show.
We should, because they do a couple of things very well. They have a job center which helps people get jobs, resume build. Oh man, I should have went to them. They help you get your resume together. I said it. So on top of library books like Batman Secret Files and Jonathan Hickman's Decorum books, uh, they also have movies, video games. Our library also has rooms so you can shoot podcasts. They have they have video equipment you can check out. So for up and coming filmmakers and streamers, they have that. So the library is what got me through this week because I've been reading a ton of library books.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I do this week? This week, I've kind of been counting down the days. For one, y'all, I've been talking about this show for years. Sherman Showcase, the second season comes out this week on the 26th. This shirt is from Sherman Showcase. Watch that on IFC if you can. I think it's great.
Hmm.
And really been playing Marvel Snap, a delightful game on mobile and on Steam. Digital card game. It's fun. A lot of stuff. Uh, Breck Warren. Yeah, was catching up on Atlanta, so I'll be watching later. Yeah, Breck Warren. I've been watching Atlanta this season too. I'm sad it's the last season, but they've been killing it every single episode. They're going out swinging, and it's been great.
Yeah, I need to catch back up. Me and my wife used to watch it together, and then the kids got in the way, so I can't. I need to go. I need to restart. I need to restart and do season two all over again because I don't remember what happened afterwards. And then they went to season three. They went overseas, and I'm like, what the hell happened? So
Yeah,
I need to start. I need to go back and do two again. Finish three, and then get to four so I can be caught up.
cool. All right, folks, that's going to be it for us. You will see us later. We
Yeah.
out. Peace.
Peace.